So I have a question for you. If you are struggling at all with anxiety or depression or despair or hopelessness or frustration, have you ever had the thought, maybe what I need is to be more creative or use my creativity more? Honestly, that's not our go-to, is it? Where we often think about, oh, what's the behavioral thing, or going to therapy, or we need to take medication. But the healing power of being creative, particularly if we are accessing our intuitive creativity, is remarkable. There's really nothing else like it. Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's Sam from thesamanthawild.com. Thank you to my new and old subscribers. I'm really happy that you're here with me. I'm slow growing here on YouTube, but don't forget to give the thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. That makes such a difference to myself, and of course to any creator that you're watching. It's a great way to say thank you. And perhaps while you're tuning in, you might want to go over and check out thesamanthawild.com, where you'll find lots of creative, sort of bohemian, very artsy clothing and art for your wall, including this piece, which is one of my favorite scarves. And I'm wearing it today because it actually was a little bit cool in the morning time, even though it's warming up. Back to this idea that we can use being creative, our natural creativity, our intuitive creativity, as part of our healing and part of our healing path. Now, if somebody could give you a little pill, it was your creativity pill, you would go home and just take it. But the thing about our creativity is we actually have to spend time doing it. Making time for it is really important. I have a video, I think, about prioritizing your creative self. But hey, you know what? If you are dealing with anxiety or depression or despair or hopelessness, I mean, a lot of us are right now. There's actually a mental health crisis in our country. Facts. And there are a lot of ways that you could address it. I'm not saying don't do all the other things, but I am saying one of the most underutilized things actually is bringing ourselves into our creative nature, particularly our intuitive creative nature. Now, when I work with people as a mentor, because I mentor people, it does come up, actually, that longing, that natural longing and desire to be creative. And why I say intuitive creativity, and I'm going to share this piece with you that I'm working on, is because we can all do paint by numbers, or most of us can. And there's nothing wrong with paint by numbers. That might be very relaxing. But the difference between doing a paint by number piece of art and then sitting down on a canvas and making whatever you're led to make is the difference, in fact, between night and day. Not just because the product or what you create, your creation is different, but because it accesses different parts of your brain. And because guess what? And you already know this, in life, almost nothing is paint by numbers. Almost everything is like, what the heck am I gonna do? In which case, developing our intuitive sense is critical life skill. And I want to talk about this piece because it started life as one thing, kind of changed into another thing as I was weaving, and then ended up with this. So as it goes, I put it on as a warp for a commission I'm doing, realized it wasn't going to be the right size or even the right colors. And then I had a warp on the loom. I wanted to keep using it, so I wove a piece, but I decided it was too small, and that's sort of the lower part. So then I decided to weave another piece with a different warp, which is what you see here, and then put them together to make a lovely long shawl. Once it was put together, I thought, wow, this is a piece that really needed to come into being. I absolutely love it. I wanted to have the double fringe here, and I love, it's beautiful. I haven't trimmed it or even washed it. Beautiful, unique expression. But the question often for a lot of people is, how do I do that? Like if I have instructions, do A, B, C, and D, I can make something or create something. How do I actually get into my intuitive creativity? Well, like everything else, it's a muscle. So if I said to you, you need to go out and jog for 3 miles every single day, and you've never been jogging at all, you wouldn't go out and jog for 3 miles every single day. You'd have to start somewhere, maybe walking up and down your stairs or back and forth to your mailbox, or you'd start by just running a mile. And it's exactly the same when we're accessing our intuitive creativity. It's a practice, and for most people, it's a very weak muscle. And the first thing, and I've talked about this in many, many other videos, the first thing is to begin a practice where we're open to listening. And we're open to listening to some other voice than the one that goes, yada, 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 you stink. That's inside our heads. A lot of the part of using your intuition to create is being willing to fail, being willing to make mistakes. So I thought, when I put that warp on, I said, well, I never like to waste a warp, so I'm going to keep going and I'm going to see what happens. Sometimes what happens when you do that is you end up with something that you don't like, or that you can't use, or isn't as beautiful as you intended it to be. but it is still alive and original and part of the process that we're in of learning to use our intuition. So I'd say one of the things is to really get used to and to develop an ability to be more and more comfortable with that sense of like, I don't know where this is going. It may not go where I want it to go, but I'm willing to be on this ride and see what happens. I think the healing component, or one healing component of that, is that when we're involved in our intuitive creativity, we start to hear what we need to hear. So for me, creating this piece, I wrote a whole story about this. If you're not on my email list, you can sign up for it at thesamanthawild.com. Every week I send out a story, and there was a story about this piece that was really important to me. And that's because in the process of making it, I really was able to see symbolically and literally as it went from what it started as on the warp to the first scarf, to the second piece, to these pieces coming together. I was able to see that it actually doesn't matter how you begin. It only matters not just how you end, but how you're moving towards the fullness of who you are. So this literally was a metaphor. This physical fiber was a metaphor for me, and a very important one. Because we tend to fixate on, well, it matters, you know, where I began, what was my childhood like, how many resources did I have, or even in a project that you're doing now and you're thinking, well, I don't have what I need, so I really can't do that. But here, for me, through my intuitive practice of weaving this, I really got that message. It doesn't matter where you've begun. It really only matters how you're ending and how you're coming into fullness. Really ending, I don't like that word. But I like the word of continuing into fullest expression. And the other thing I want to say is that for a lot of people, if we are creating in a very structured way that's been given to us, like paint by numbers, like something very specific, or we're creating a craft, following the lines, we don't have the opportunity not just to have a message come out of our creating, but to be healed by the experience of tapping into our own intuition. To know that you have an intuition, and that you can listen to it, and that it guides you, is such a significant life skill. I wish they taught it inside schools. And it's healing in and of itself. The voice that predominates for most of us is a voice of criticism, a voice that discourages us, a voice, and I talk to people, both friends and mentees, about this all the time. The voice, you can't do this, or you're not good enough, or nobody loves you, or why can't you be this way, or why can't you be like your sister, or why can't you be like this person, or you're never going to amount to anything, or that thing's a piece of crap. So most people carry with them a very strong critical voice. And they do a lot of things out of that voice. They're led to make decisions about what to do from that voice of criticism and fear. When we develop and begin to experience that intuitive voice, we have the opportunity actually to move from and make decisions from, be guided by the voice of intuition, not just in making a piece of art, but in making the art of our lives. I hope I can encourage you today to just try something. I have no idea what's going to happen, but I'm curious. I'm going to go try it. I'm going to be listening for that intuitive voice. I hope that I can encourage you. And in the meantime, don't forget to give a thumbs up. If you enjoyed this video, please do subscribe. That really matters. And until next time, head on over to thesamanthawild.com and check out this beautiful scarf and many other of my pieces. Let me know in the comments if there's any ways that you struggle with tapping into your intuition. I hope that you have a very beautiful and creative day.